Hey everyone. Welcome back to RJK English or RJK Hindi. Oh, my hair is kind of messed up. Sorry about that. Before we get into the next section, which is conjunct consonants, let's do a little bit of filling in some of the blanks that are there, okay? So the first one is many of you, and I know I've talked about this before, but when you are taking a yoga class or maybe you're learning Devanagari because you like spiritualism from India, which we often put under Hinduism. Okay, and one of the things that you see is the Om symbol. Okay, what is Om? Om, Om. What this is it is in Hindu thought or Upanishadic thought or Vedic thought, it is the sound that is the basis of all reality. So at the base of all reality is the sound Om. And when you say it, you're connecting with it. Now, I am not an expert in Hinduism. I've researched it, and again, I'll say there are many types of Hinduism, but it's all bunched under this one thing of Hinduism. But going back to the Vedas and everything, we have this Om. So let's make that Om. Do you remember when we made the U, the and the U, right? This is U, this is right? We could also make this O, or all, right? Well, the Om is somewhere in between this. And if anybody out there knows the real answer to this, let me know. But basically, if you say Om, and then you put this dot here, what did we say that was? That's that or So it's the Om or Om. Somehow it's within this range. It's more like this, the U or the So Om, it's somewhere in there, and you've got this curl, and then you put this at the top, and that's that So it doesn't really explain it all, but I want to demystify it a little bit, that this is the Om. It looks like this, and you need to know it, just like if you want to know Islam, you have to know Allah. This is Allah. If you know Hinduism, you need to know Om. So it's somewhere in between the Ah, Om, and or something like that. So somehow it came to be this symbol. Okay, next. We need to know one letter I did not teach you in Hindi. It's a holdover from Sanskrit, but you're going to encounter it a couple times, and I'm going back to my book, which you can see in the description below, and I'm looking at what I had written here in order to make sure to go over it. I will also teach you at the end of this about what Namaste is. It might seem a little funny when you go back to your yoga class and everyone's like, Namaste. Okay, but anyways, this is the Re. Remember I taught you Krishna, which you probably all know. You've heard of Krishna maybe through the Beatles or something like this. This is the K, the secret letter. The sh, one of the sh sounds, and one of the N sounds. This is the other sh sound. This is the other N sound, right? So, and again, since it's Sanskrit, it has an at the end. Krishna. When we think of Sanskrit, we think of at the end of any word. Whereas in Hindi, it's not exactly there. So for this, we're missing what this thing is here. And again, I said it was like a re, like this here, like re, re. So we're going to make that letter right now, and I'll show you the most common place you're going to see this. So it's something like that. It's a little bit complicated. And this is re. They think of it in Hindi, it's considered a vowel, but in modern times, we think of it as a consonant vowel. Okay, re. Like this, if you were to spell it out in Hindi, it would be the R with the I before it, re. So how do we make this? Oh, and when do we use this? When will you ever need this, right? In the word rishi, rishi. So you've probably heard of a rishi. You think of him as this would be a kind of a holy man. Well, it's re, re, and then rishi, rishi. Let me make sure I spelled that right. Yep, rishi. This means a saint, a saint, saint, rishi. It's also a name, Rishi. So you might meet someone named Rishi. This is how you spell his name. So how do we make that? How do we make that letter? Like this. Okay, make your line down. Now here you're going to make this little loop up, loop, and make an E from it like this. So you're going to come up, tight loop, and you're going to kind of make an E from it like that. Okay? So from the middle, loop, tight E, like this, okay? Then you're going to have a sloping line like this, down, and then cut away. And close it off, and there you got your re, re. Now you're on the way to learning Sanskrit. Let's do it one more time. Remember, my line coming away looks like this. I go up, curve around, and do an E like this. Okay? So line down. Like this. See how it angles over, or what would I say, curves over and then angles down. And cap it. There you got your re. Okay? You might impress someone. Maybe if you meet a native Hindi speaker, they might show you how to make it a little bit better than I do. Okay, I barely use it. So, okay. The other insights I want to talk about is pronounce words in Hindi like Hindi speakers say them. Okay? Hindi, overall, Devanagari is very true to how it looks. It sounds like how it looks. Knowing Devanagari is going to help you say Hindi better, but it's not always that way, okay? So we think of Delhi as spelled like this, right? And therefore, we would spell it like Del, he, right? But that's not how it's spelled, okay? It's spelled, it's Dilli, Dilli. And it's a double L, so you hold it a little bit longer. Dilli, dilli. Okay, so here's my di. And now you're getting a sense of how we connect L's. It's going to be two L's. Two L's. Dilli, dilli. I made it kind of wonky. But that's Dilli. So I want to say it like locals say it. Dilli, not try to say Delhi. Okay, here's a better example. Taj Mahal, right? You all know the Taj Mahal. What is it? I'm going to try to make it onion dome, 4 domes around it, wonder of the world. Everyone goes and visits it, right? Taj Mahal. This is how we say it. It's actually, it's spelled like this. Here's my T, A, I'm not making the J right. Taj, Mahal. So it should be Taj Mahal, Mahal, because we know that if there's no Here we have T, A, and then J. T, A, and then J. But here, what we learned was in between these should be Us, right? Mahal. But that's not how Indians say it. They say mahal, like I put an eh there. Taj Mahal. Okay, but it's not. This really comes from Urdu. It's an Urdu word. So Taj Mahal comes from that, and that's how Urdu speakers say it. So even though it's spelled like this, where it looks like mahal, I'm going to say mahal because as I meet Hindi speakers, they say Taj Mahal. So my advice is, even though Devanagari is close to the language, say it like other people say it. Okay? Let's see what else I have. Going back to the re, one word you might want to know, if you're interested in Sanskrit, is that the re is in Sanskrit as well. So here's sun, Sanskrit. Here I have the S connected to the K, the re, and the T. And this is sun, and I'm saying Sanskrit, skrit, because this is my re, Sanskrit. All right. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to cover before we move on. I think that is it. I already told you about how at the end here, I should put this because it's not Sanskrita, but at the end of, I already told you about that. So anyways, I wanted to go over a couple of these before. Oh, one more thing. I said there were no diphthongs, right? We talked about this a little bit before. Here is the word batana. Okay, batana. Ba-ta-na. It means to tell. To tell someone, okay? This is a verb, and just like we put to tell, and when we use it, we cut the tell off and we use the verb from there, right? We conjugate it. Well, in the same way, at the end of every Hindi verb, in its infinitive form, like we write to tell, is an na, okay? And what they do to make the verb is they take this base, bata, and then all the conjugation is after that. So one of the common ones for to tell is batao. Batao. The base ends in an a. Well, now we have a new vowel, a vowel after a vowel. We write it all the way out. Bata o. Bata, and my line stops right before the o. Bata o. Batao. Let me show you again. So I've got batana, batana. I'm going to cut off when I say tum batao. Tell me, you. Tum mujhe batao. You, tum, me, mujhe, to me, tell. Then I'm going to conjugate this, so I take the n off, and now I've got the base, bata, right? And I add the o to it. Batao. And I actually have to write it all the way out, and I do not put the line above this part of the o, this 3 looking thing, right? Batao. That means you tell. You tell, batao. So you'll see if there's 2 vowels together, the second vowel is spelled out. Is the infinitive version of it is an infinitive. The full unattached version is used. Okay? Let's see if I have anything else. That's it. Next time we're going to do conjuncts. We're going to do conjuncts next time. And that means just like when I wrote Hindi, oops, there I did it again. Hindi, I put that N with the D. That's the N, that's this, with the D, Hindi, okay? And when I wrote Delhi, that's two L's together, and that's how they come together. That's a conjunct. And that's where we're going to start next time. You're fully ready, and we're going to hit it and learn all of this together. And you are going to be really good at writing and reading Devanagari. All right? See you next time.